Hey everyone, this is World Film Geek here, and I've interviewed Fionn O'Shea, the Irish actor who starred in Handsome Devil. His latest film, Dating Amber, is coming November 13th from Samuel Goldwyn Films. Enjoy the interview. Say, Handsome Devil to this day is still one of my favorite movies, and I'm glad to see you again in Dating Amber. I actually just watched it this morning, and I really loved that movie. It was really good.
Oh, cool. Thank you so much. That's so kind. And I'm delighted that you like Handsome Devil as well.
So my first question is, how'd you get involved with Dating Amber?
So I kind of, it was a really traditional audition process in that I got sent the script and got asked to put myself on tape to send in to the casting director. And as soon as I read the script, I just absolutely fell in love with it. And I was laughing out loud and crying out loud and feeling so many different emotions reading it that I knew that I wanted to be a part of it to play Eddie. And then we kind of went through a lot of different kind of stages of auditions, and then finally a chemistry read where there were four different Eddies and four different Ambers, and we read in kind of every permutation, maybe is the right word, of Eddie and Amber. And yeah, and as soon as I read with Lola, I knew that she was the most perfect person to play Amber. And I remember actually thinking in the audition, I was like, oh, I should stay quite close to Lola because she's probably going to get cast, and it's going to improve my chances if I'm close to her.
That's awesome. And you guys, you two, you and Lola had perfect chemistry, in my opinion. You guys played each other off so well that it really made the film work out. And what was it like working with her in the actual movie?
Oh, well, thank you so much. That's really kind of you to say. And, it was a dream come true. It was, Dave was trying to, for Dave, the most important casting to Dave was Eddie and Amber. And I think the way that, certainly the way that I look at the film is that there's one central performance, and that is Eddie and Amber combined. That is the central performance, their relationship, and it was really important to get that right. And we had a lot of rehearsal time, and we were both working on different things at the time, and we had quite a long lead in. So I think we had a couple months before starting shooting. We were working on other things, so we'd meet up every week or every 2 weeks and just hang out, and we'd run some scenes and then spend time together. And then Lola and I became completely inseparable, and just became the best of friends. So we say that Dave wanted to cast people who would pretend to be best friends, and then he cast two people who ended up being best friends.
That's awesome. And what was it like working with Dave? I mean, it seems like he got it packed down really well, much like in the same way John Butler did with you with Handsome Devil. It was that magic was there, and it seemed like in this case it was with Dave, and it was a really great job. What was it like working with him?
It was amazing working with Dave. Dave is such an incredibly talented writer and director, and the way that he can seamlessly go between genres as well, with his first film, and then Dating Amber is really something it was something that's really impressive. And working with Dave was so collaborative, and he would, he let myself and Lola bring so much of ourselves to Eddie and Amber, and so much of our friendship to Eddie and Amber's friendship. And there was just such an open dialogue, and he was never afraid to try new things or kind of throw lots of different ideas out. So it was a dream come true working with Dave, and I'd do it again in a heartbeat.
Yeah, and it seems like you worked well, not just with Lola, but with the rest of the cast. In particular, there was a few scenes you had a great chemistry with Barry Ward, who I actually talked to a few years ago for another movie he did, and he was such a great guy to talk to. And your little training scene together in the woods, that was it kind of made me laugh a bit, especially when you cut your finger and It looked like I thought you were gonna pass out for a second there. I thought that was pretty funny. And then there was a scene where after,
Yeah, I
yeah. So what was it like working with Barry?
And yeah, well, it should remind me that scene that you're talking about. I think there's a version of that scene that's like 5 minutes long, and we just kept going and going, and like I remember when we were filming it because they had put on the blood, and then Dave kept being like more blood, more blood, more blood. So there's a version of the scene that's like 5 minutes long where my whole forearm is covered in blood. But which I'm sure he'll put out at the world at some point. But working with Barry was amazing. Yeah, Barry and I became really, really close friends. I was talking to him earlier today, but yeah, we became really close, and he's such a terrific actor, and he's so funny, and you know, watching himself and Sharon and Evan, who played my little brother, all improv together was something to behold, because they were just so funny. I mean, the most difficult thing about filming those scenes is just trying not to laugh. I think the scene that took the most amount of takes in the entire film was that dinner scene where it's myself, Lola, Barry, Evan, and Sharon, and I can't even tell you the amount of times we did it, and it went from everyone laughing and it being really funny to people kind of looking at their watches, wondering whether or not they were going to finish the day on time.
And I also like the scene where, well, it's not so much an ending, but when Amber was outed, and you had your one classmate who earlier in the film you tried to hit on you, and she just kept like. I was laughing so hard at that because I thought that was hilarious, and you know, it did help. Yeah, it did help bring a comic factor into like a kind of a serious movie as well.
Yeah, I think Ian, who plays Kev in the film, is such a brilliant actor, and he brought so much to Kev, and he was so funny. And I think, you know, one thing that's really interesting about the film is there's no irredeemable bad guy, and there's no irredeemable character in the film, and I think that Ian just played Kev so perfectly. There's so many scenes in the film that's like just trying not to laugh, because he just come up with new things every take to try, and each one was funnier than the last somehow. I think there's another scene where I don't know if we'll be able to put this in print, because I don't know how good it is. But there's a scene where he asks how far did Eddie go?
Yeah, I remember that.
And he does a extremely crude finger movement.
Yeah, I do remember that.
And the way he was doing that, we just couldn't stop laughing.
And the other scene, pivotal scene that made me like really lose it, like laughing so hard, was you and the teacher, and when you tried kissing him, and I just lost it when his reaction was so funny. Like, I was wondering, I'm like, that had to have taken a few takes right there. I would have, because if that was me in that situation, I would have busted out laughing.
Yeah, you know, it was really funny because that's Peter Campion, who plays Mr. Sweeney. He was so funny, and I remember, yeah, that did take I think it did take a few takes, because it was just so. That was a scene actually when I first read the script. I remember reading that and just, oh God, just like sinking into the sofa, being like, oh my God, what is happening? And feeling so awkward and such secondhand embarrassment for Eddie. But I remember when we filmed that, just the way the setup of, just the way the camera was set up and stuff, the desks had to be way closer than they were on the wide, just for it to make sense. And so I think the first time we did it, Peter ended up kind of just like straddling me for the first take, and we just couldn't stop laughing. Because obviously it looks perfect on camera, but yeah, he is so funny, and he's so brilliant in that scene.
Yeah, I gotta say, I think this movie ranks up there with Handsome Devil as one of your finest performances, hands down. I mean, I would put these two together in a double feature, not just for the fact that you're in both, but the theme too, involving gay characters and the whole thing with the private schools in the way, and just it's like a perfect double feature.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate you saying that. I know that like both of these films are films that I cared so much about, and I really put my heart and soul into both, and I definitely didn't take being given the opportunity lightly. And so yeah, I'm thrilled to hear that you like them both so much.
So my last question is: with film and TV production coming back, thanks to after the whole pandemic, are there any new projects in the works that you can talk about?
Yeah, so I have a film coming out in January called Cherry. It's starring Tom Holland, and it's directed by Joe and Anthony Russo.
Oh,
And then I just finished filming a film called Wolf that's starring Louis Kai and Lydia Rose Depp.
that's awesome. I'm glad to see that you're going to be in Cherry because I've been hearing so much about that one. I'm definitely going to look out for you in that one for sure.
Oh, cool. Yeah, well, I felt so lucky to. I mean, I'm a very small part of that film, but just to be involved with it in any capacity was a dream come true. And I was pinching myself, and I think Tom is going to be so incredible in it. And I think that Joe and Anthony have made something really, really special. So I can't wait to see what people think of it.
That's awesome. So, Dating Amber is coming on November 13th, and those who loved Handsome Devil and those who want to see something fresh in terms of gay romantic comedies or gay bromance type movies, they're definitely going to want to see this one. And Fionn, thank you so much again for taking the time to talk about it.
Oh, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, well, I hope you take care and you stay safe.
Cool. Thank you so much.
All right, take care.